Welcome to Wisdom from Odisha, where we travel through centuries to uncover the wisdom hidden in the stories of this ancient land. These aren't just tales of the past, they are lessons carved by rebels, saints, and legends who shaped the spirit of Eastern India. I am your host, Abhijit, and today we uncover the story of a teenager girl who showed the world that age is no barrier when heart decides to rise. Imagine you are a 16-year-old. While most teenagers today are worrying about exams or social media, you are standing in front of a British police station in colonized India. You aren't there to surrender, you are there to take it over. In your hand, you don't have a weapon, you have a white flag and a heart full of fire. This was Parbati Giri. They called her the Banhi Kanya, the girl of fire. But why has history tucked away the story of the girl who made British Empire tremble in the village of western Odisha? Stay with us, because today we uncover the life of a teenager who chose a prison cell over a comfortable home. Our story begins in the small village of Samarpalli in Bargad. It's 1926. Parbati was born into a family of freedom fighters, but she didn't just follow them, she led. At age of 12, she dropped out of schools, not because she couldn't study, but because she decided the entire nation was her classroom. By the time she was 16, the Quit India movement of 1942 was sweeping across India. While the big leaders were being arrested in cities, Parbati was the heartbeat of rebellion in the villages of Bargad and Sambalpur districts of Odisha. Picture this: a young girl, barely 5 feet tall, leading a massive crowd towards the Bhedin police station. The police officers recruited by the British colonial rule were armed with guns, and the air is filled with tension. But does she run away? No. She walks straight up to the commanding officer. She looks him in the eyes and says, "Leave this chair. This seat belongs to the people, not to a foreign crown." She didn't just use a sword, she used her presence. It was a psychological war, and the teenager was winning. She was eventually arrested and thrown into a cold, dark cell for 2 years. But the British couldn't jail her spirit. After India gained independence, she didn't ask for a government post or a pension. She didn't want a medal. She saw a different kind of war, the war against poverty and loneliness. She opened an orphanage, the Kasturba Gandhi Matru Niketan. She becomes a Mata, mother to hundreds of children who had no one. The girl who once fought break the chain of country spent the rest of her life breaking the chain of hungers and misfortune. Parbati Giri's life teaches us this: leadership has no age. We often wait for the right time or for the more experience before we stand up for what is right. But Parbati shows us that conviction is more powerful than a resume. Her transition from revolutionary to a social worker reminds us that true freedom isn't just absence of an enemy, it's the presence of care for the weakest person in the room. So, let's think critically about how we remember history. Why do we know every details of global revolutions but so little about the Banhi Kanya of Odisha? We often fell into the trap of great men history. The idea that history is only made by a few famous men in suits. When we overlook figures like Parbati Giri, we lose the ground reality of a movement. By shifting our lens to local heroes, we realize that independence wasn't won in a boardroom in Delhi. It was won in the dusty streets of Samarpalli and courage of 16-year-olds. Parbati Giri passed away in 1995, leaving behind a legacy of quiet strength. Because of her remarkable efforts in freedom struggle, her fight against hunger and her lifelong dedication to charitable work, she is often called the Mother Teresa of Western Odisha. Thank you very much for watching till end. See you next time.